there's a tendency to overcomplicate things when it comes to this matter, trying to realize the self. Even when you've gotten a glimpse of it already, of what you are, there's a tendency for the mind to keep on coming in. And right then and there, if we listen to that voice, we then assume or presume to be in the experience of what we take that voice to be saying. So, for example, you see very clearly that you are, and then the mind will bring in some teachings from some other books and say, no, but you haven't had this experience yet. But what we fail to notice is, even while the mind is saying that, we are still as we are. So instead of listening to the mind, if you remain with what you are, then that's it already, you see. So there is nothing further than that. But what happens is that because we've been seeking for so long, the identity of a seeker is strong and the habit is still there, that even after you've discovered what it is, instead of uh, just being, you'll tend to grab some books or something to read, to think, and that is basically, you know, for some content or something like that. Maybe you say, I want to read so that I can verify in my own experience, whatever it is. I mean, and that is also okay. But the thing is that even that thought, let's read and verify something, is happening in the presence that you have already established that you are. So if that's already what you are, then there is, nothing further in that sense to go into. Everything else will simply be complicating it in a way, because if you believe and you follow that thought. So if you don't follow the thought, if you don't believe the thought, you just see it as another appearance in you, because what you are is immovable. Everything that you observe cannot be you, whether it's thoughts, whether it's feelings, whether it's sensations, whether it's an idea of what you are, and all of that. Even that is just an appearance in what you really are. So don't overcomplicate things in that way. It's simpler than simple. These words are just pointers to what is always already here, to your presence, if you want to use that word, to what you are, the fact that you are. And you can't put a shape to it, you can't put a form to it, you can't do any of that to it. It's just here. And it's never absent. You see? So this is just a reminder in a way that once you've seen there's not much more in terms of things to do. You may suddenly have an idea, I want to stabilize in this more. But if you catch yourself really quickly, you'll see that I want to stabilize in this more is just a thought. You can never get out of this. So there's no need to stabilize yourself in this. There are different instructions given by many, many teachers, many, many gurus, and they are um, they're just different expressions pointing to the same thing. But the expressions can come out differently due to the level of belief in individuality and all that in the person that's talking to them. You see? So they have to create conceptual structures to break down the conceptual structures within the seeker. And depending on the different styles of seeking and different ideas that are in their head, the destruction has to be different. So the construction of ideas, which comes out in the form of expression, that's not what you're supposed to hold on to. What you're supposed to hold on to, actually, even the word hold on to is another pointing, but what you are cannot be absent from here. And that's the only thing you have to be, is be yourself. I mean, be yourself. But it's not be yourself, because the idea of I have to do something to be myself is already occurring in the presence that's already there. So it's just that. It's simply that. Just you have to just see that what you are is always here. You see? and not to further complicate things in that way. But there will be no complication for this because this is always here. Any complication will just be an idea appearing in this. So I don't know, something felt to just share something like that because I could see a tendency in my in myself to do this, to come to a clarity, and then you'll want to read something more or to do like that, and then suddenly that will create the new confusion because now you're suddenly grabbing on to an expression and not to what the expression was pointing at, because what the expression is pointing at is you, and any structure and anything built around it is just simply a tool, a device, not a new belief to pick up, because what you are doesn't need any belief for you to be.